time for another Elsie's Little Pickles, the pickle pod for the people. Protesting pickles on porches of MAGA supporters of all over the country. So, again, amazing times we're living in. I don't know if you actually have this as a news story or not, but we once again have another school shooting. So,
unfortunately,
that's cool. Hey, I got something for them. Thoughts and prayers. It was a Christian church or Christian school, right? Wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was, in fact, a Christian school.
Well, so thoughts and prayers ought to be enough.
Well, can you really say thoughts and prayers? I mean, this was God's will and Jesus's will.
Yeah, God had.
They were running low on some angels for the day.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, and apparently, Jesus loves ARs.
30 round.
Yeah, Jesus loves ARs.
Apparently, it was a handgun.
Oh, was it this time? It was a handgun.
Yeah.
Did they say what kind?
It wasn't the holy hand grenade. It was a holy handgun.
What did they say? What kind? 9mm or what?
I have not seen that. It just says handgun.
See, this is one of those weird circumstances. I was watching coverage of it, and they were talking about the parents possibly being held accountable, and it put me into the position of like, yeah, there's sometimes like, the Oxford shooting in Michigan where those parents definitively were culpable in helping that circumstance happen. But what happens when you do everything right? You know what I mean? Let's say you do everything right as a gun owner and as a parent, and the kid finds a way to break in. Because let's face it, nowadays, most people keep any of like their combinations or any passcodes or anything like that on their phone. Well, how hard is it for a teenager to figure out how to get into your phone if you're the father or the mother? So like you might have the combination to a, beautiful $10,000 high quality, best of the best safe for your guns. And you as the owner or as the father or the mother or both never share that with anyone except each other. And your kid breaks into your phone, or you leave your phone on the counter and it's unlocked, and you walk away to go to the bathroom or whatever, and the kid takes a peek at notes and sees the combination and breaks in. Or what if the kid just knows that mom always uses, birthdays for these codes, or dad uses birthdays for these types of things, so it's easier to remember. I mean, it's not hard for a kid who has their mind set on it to figure out how to break into a safe or anywhere else in the house. I mean, look at what I did as a kid. There was nothing that I did not know, because I was curious and I was nosy. So what do you do in those cases? I mean, do the parents, like, if the parents did everything appropriately and maybe didn't even know that the kid had found out the combination to the safe or whatever, and then behaves in this way, are they culpable? Are they, should they be held accountable? What do you think?
I think there is a level of responsibility. The best way to prevent your kid, your brat, from getting a hold of a gun
is not to have any in the house at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you know what though? I mean, what if you're a hunter? Like legit, you like to go bird hunting, and you got a 12 gauge. Or you live in, I mean, there is an argument to be made that you're trying to have something available in case you need to protect your family. I do believe in
9 times out of, my issue with guns is there is no other use for a handgun other than to kill a human. It is more efficient for hunting to use some sort of rifle.
Well, I agree.
Handgun is for close quarters combat with a human being.
I agree with you on that.
And when people can claim defense all day long, that's great. But at the end of the day, there are countries like New Zealand, Australia, where they don't really have guns. And the last shooting was, 20 years ago?
Yeah, but like when you look at Australia, those men are made differently. They punch kangaroos. for fucking with their dogs. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit different mindset, you know? Like
Well, maybe Americans need to be a little tougher.
Look, and I'm not against the idea of instead of having guns, you have to actually fist fight. I think that would be great. I just, I'm to the point where I just look at all of the gun violence in this country. It didn't even fully register when I heard the news story because I was like, oh, okay, another shooting, another school shooting. Like I'm numb to it.
Well, my initial reaction was like, holy crap. It actually hadn't been in the news lately. Like you didn't hear about anything for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least I didn't.
No, you didn't. I mean, I'm sure there were things happening, but there were no major ones. The
unfortunate part of this, obviously, the two innocent lives lost. But I read that the 911 call came in from a second grader.
Yeah, that's what broke my heart. Is that a second grader? So you're talking, 7, 8 years old, having to take the responsibility on to call 911 because there's a active shooter in their school. And I don't know if it was a little boy or a little girl, but it was a second grader for Christ's sake.
Yeah, the school was a K through 12, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
What is it going to take?
Well,
but the NRA rolls on. There's nothing to see here.
Well, it's nice that it's happening at Christian schools and private schools as well as public schools.
Yeah.
Because at least we know then
let it not be said that God doesn't like to kill children. Because he does.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. Look at him. Look at him.
I believe there's several chapters of that dedicated in the Holy Bible.
Oh, yeah. Holy Babel. All right, what else you got for me?
Some fun news. North Korean troops have begun firing on Russian units in Kiev.
We're here to help. You're pissing us off. Boom. I wonder what made that happen. Does it say, or was it like,
no, it's actually a video of it being reported, apparently.
I'll put money on it because I know like Kim Jong, little Kim was pissed off that his troops were being used basically as cannon fodder.
Yes.
So I would have a feeling that they didn't care for that either. And then they figured, well, you know what? Fuck you. If you're going to be that way, we're going to shoot you too. But that's kind of how a world war starts, isn't it? Now you've got 3 countries there.
Maybe these North Korean troops were just tired of hearing the Russians talk shit.
Probably.
How small they are and weak, and get to the front, take the brunt of the attack.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what do you think this means then for relations between Putin and little Kim? Like, how does that play out?
That I don't know. A lot of things are blowing up in Putin's face right now. This 3-day war that has turned into 3 years. He's sending nukes into Belarus for safekeeping, so he thinks.
Yeah.
His own missile system has malfunctioned.
Are you talking about
explosion?
Are you talking about his dick or his missile system?
Doesn't really matter at this point.
Neither are working well. Neither are working well.
No. I mean, he is so paranoid. Like, you do know he doesn't eat or drink anything when he meets people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that he hasn't brought.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He doesn't trust anyone. I'm pretty sure by now he's not allowing his manservant to jerk him off anymore because he thinks he's going to rip his dick off.
I got to be honest with you. If I was in his position, I would probably do the same thing. It's like, even if you're a good, like, quote unquote, one of the good guys, when you're running Russia, there's so many other players in that country. Like, just because you're Putin doesn't mean that you got all the power, or that you're without worry of threat. In fact, I think it multiplies exponentially if you're Putin or anyone in his position in that role, because there's so many bad actors, not only in that country, but also in that area.
Yeah.
And the book has kind of been written as far as like how to view Russia from other countries. You're either an ally or you're not. And usually the reasons are your relationship with Putin. That's why, like with Trump.
You're either with us or you're against us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But I think that, like, even with Trump,
Is
I
it
think it's going
possible
to backfire.
Say okay in like a Russian accent?
Sure. Why not?
I don't know how to do that.
I don't either. That's why I was counting on you. Don't bring it up if you can't do it.
And I felt like I was just going to cough up a loogie. Okay.
Oh, while I'm thinking about it, because I don't want to forget, I have to apologize to you. I am very, very sorry.
What did you do?
I didn't watch the game, but I peeked in on it twice.
Is that why we lost?
Thinking it's probably my fault.
You're banished. You're banned from the TV.
Right.
It's coming Sunday.
So for those who don't know, last podcast, we were talking about the Lions, how proud we are of them, but also like every time I watch a Lions game, they lose. And so I haven't been watching and they've been winning. And then they were going up against the Bills, which was a big, big game. And I didn't watch it, but I did check in twice. And I watched a couple of plays, a couple downs, and then checked the score, and then I pieced out, and then I came back, and it was bad.
Yeah, I know the Lions scored 42 points.
Yeah, I think the Bills were what, 48?
I don't remember if it's 46 or 40. I'm just gonna go with
I think it was 48.
47.
Okay.
Let's go with 47.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 48.
It's right in the middle. But it was one of those things where you score 42 points, probably have enough to win any game. But the problem is that the Lions and the Bills are the two top scoring offenses in the NFL. And it was a run and gun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Lions had, I want to say, 3 key injuries during the game. 2 on defense, Lee McNeil, Dorsey. They went down with season enders. And then my heart hurts saying that David Montgomery got hurt, Knuckles, if you will. That's his nickname. One of our duo in running backs between Gibbs and Montgomery. Montgomery got hurt. Was about to have surgery on his knee, unfortunately. Our defense has so many injuries. Starters that are out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have been winning games, but our defense has been pieced together. It's been cobbled together with duct tape and bubble gum and scotch tape. Get a little Potter's putty and put it on because everybody is hurt. I mean, legit, our defense is 21 players injured.
God damn.
Starters. I think it was Tom Brady who said, if you took the injury report of the Lions, you'd field a Pro Bowl defense in every position.
Unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. Like, there has never been this many injuries.
Well, they're playing hard. That's why.
They are playing hard
and playing
They've
to
got
win.
Great schemes that, it's literally been plug and play with personnel, but you don't want to go through this many personnel.
Right.
There are whispers I have been reading about people that they're talking to sign that are unsigned or free agents because they can't make trades. You don't want to make trades at this point. Well, you can't at this point. But just some free agents and people who might come out of retirement given this opportunity.
Billy Sims, where are you?
Well, other teams have released a few players, and there's a running back that they feel might be able to help fill in the blank for Montgomery until he can come back so they can keep a tandem going. But it's really defense.
Yeah.
The defense is so hurt.
Well, hopefully
It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous.
hopefully they recover before New Jersey is taken over.
Well, I gotta say, one of the news reports that came across my news desk today was Michael Parsons. I know you don't know football. Michael Parsons is the best defensive player for the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Fantastic player. He's their version of Aiden Hutchinson. Fantastic. And Micah Parsons' father speculated that he would love to see Micah in a Detroit Lions jersey.
Really?
And perhaps there should be some discussions because his father's not happy with the Cowboys. Wants to get him out of there before they get any worse and waste his career. And I mean,
well, that's
if anybody has got cap space to add a Michael Parsons to their team, it's actually Detroit. It is. As great as Detroit has been, they're the youngest team in the league and has the most cap space. They're just not spending money. Brad Holmes is a fucking genius as GM and has set up Detroit to be a powerhouse for years.
Let's hope.
So, yeah, I know. It's crazy to think about.
I can't even
say that with the name Detroit Lions.
I can't. I'm sorry. Like, I literally, none of that registers in my noggin. Like, the idea of one or two good seasons, great. The idea of a Super Bowl win, still not buying it. No matter how much everyone says, you know.
Well,
I'm so used to.
That would happen.
Yeah, I'm just so
but
used.
Next year, I know everybody's always next year, but legit next year having this roster back because everybody's coming back. That's what people don't really,
pay
picture.
Attention, yeah.
Is that these guys are all under multi-year contracts. They're not going anywhere. And next year, you're going to have Z and Hutch on the field. Davenport, I do believe. They're going to be even better next year.
Well,
that's
let's
the
hope
insane
so.
part.
Like I said,
they've been great. They're going to be even better.
Let's hope it happens before New Jersey is completely taken over by these drones. This is the big story. I'm sorry, but this to me is the big story. Clearly, there's something going on there.
Yes.
Clearly, the government, in my opinion, the government knows but is not telling us. They keep whispering bullshit in our ears. So let's just start off with where these have been cited. Aside from New Jersey and New York seem to be the two hot spots. But they've also been cited in Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, Massachusetts, California, and
New Hampshire.
Yeah, I think New Hampshire was in there too. Yeah, and New Hampshire. California, though less frequently than in the eastern states. And it's not just in this country. You got Germany in December 2024. Drones were observed flying over the U.S. Air Force Base at Ramstein, United Kingdom, November 20th, 24. What's that? What are you laughing at?
Rammstein. They've been seen flying over their concerts. Du hast drone.
They've been in the United Kingdom, Ukraine. I mean,
sorry, I tickled myself with that one.
We knew about Ukraine though because that's been kind of going on since the beginning of the war there, and I believe Italy too, if I'm not mistaken, has had these. So,
my takeaway from that is, I'm looking at you, Tim Pool. You and your uneducated speculation that you're saying is fact, because you're an idiot, Tim Pool.
What did Tim Pool say?
Oh, he says it's Biden and his government messing with his own government to ruin things for Trump.
To what end? I mean, how does that? It doesn't even make sense. That's like saying,
it's irresponsible speculation, his own
All my whites,
fantasy little world.
all my whites are pink because there was a red sweater that I didn't see in the whites.
Yeah, well,
and that's Biden's
as
fault.
with a lot of KKK members who end up with pink uniforms, they wash the MAGA hat with their robes.
That'll happen.
What happens?
You wash your MAGA hat with your white robe. You got a pink robe.
You just become a symbol of the menstrual cycle.
The PMS 1100.
Breaks down every 28 days.
It's a bitch to get started.
Why is it getting warm in here?
So I guess my first question is, all right, so Tim Pool thinks that Biden's trying to sabotage the Trump administration. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. I don't even understand the logic behind it. Like, I don't understand the logic behind it at all. Because regardless of what you think about Biden, whether you're for him or against him, whether you're Democrat or you're not, this is happening on his watch. So I hold him currently responsible for this until Trump.
Don't understand that point of view because you haven't been kicked in the face by a horse.
Probably that I've never been kicked in the face by a horse, so that is true. But I like I said, I mean, to what end? Because if Biden is somehow behind this, it's on his watch, and that's not doing anything for legacy. And he's already fucked his legacy up, but why add to that, right? And to what end? To what end is the question.
You know, it's funny.
Like what's the purpose for them being out there?
We are a month and 2 weeks out of the election, and I'm already sick of hearing about Trump.
Oh my God.
I don't know how I'm going to deal with the next 4 years.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I really don't.
It's going to be tough. Well, I mean, I guess this is how we get through it, is by talking about, potentially UAPs and drones and ghost stories. And
yeah, I have to send you a video on YouTube for you to watch. I watched it and was very intrigued. It's a 2-hour video, though.
That's a video.
But it's a discussion with a former CIA operative who...
The guy with the long hair?
Yes, you've seen it?
I've seen him before. He does a lot of these longer videos in podcasts and stuff like that. But the one that you're specifically talking about, I don't know that I've seen.
He's suggesting that people should leave the U.S. before 2030.
And why?
I don't want to go into that. Let me throw some
red meat out
over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, let's getting back to the drones. All right. Clearly, like I said, some of these are misidentified aircraft. Clearly, some of these are misidentified, stars and planets. Some of these are clearly misidentified as commercial grade, get from Best Buy or your local hobby shop drones. But
yes,
while that can explain, even if that explains 75, 80% of it, you still got 20%, 25% of this that is unexplained. All right. Specifically the orbs. Those are not being explained. Plasma orbs that seem to be almost intelligent in design, whether that's the entity itself or whether that's just an intelligently designed piece of equipment. I don't know. My question
is... You can't exactly go out to Hobby Lobby and get one of the SUV-sized drones.
No, you can't. That's the thing is these things are being reported as large as SUVs in some instances, and I don't even know if those are being commercially made. I know you have larger ones that are available commercially for agriculture. You got them available for, search and rescues and stuff like that. But when you're starting to talk SUV size, I don't even think the military has any that are necessarily that size. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. Yeah. But definitely not something that's commercially readily available. And not to the extent that, and even if it was commercially available, okay, you would need to have special licensing in order to fly something that large under FAA law or rules. So you would still need, and that's the thing that kills me is, I don't think it's aliens. And the reason I don't think it's aliens is because they've got the red and green lights on them for the most part, except for the orbs. That's why I always go back to the orbs.
I should take off my hat, mess up my hair, and say, I think it was aliens because it was alien.
Ancient alien theorists say yes. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what to make of it. But I kind of want to break it down because there's so much action on this on social media, and so many people are really concerned. I mean, there's like a legit concern of what in the fuck are these things. And even if you just say they're drones, okay, well, fine, I can live with that. But who's running them? And why are they running them like this? And how come their drones are so much better than all of our drones? How are these things hitting 30 and 50,000 feet? How are they doing some of these maneuvers in ways that doesn't really make sense even under drone technology? Like there are definitively questions here, right? And, anytime I hear, the Pentagon or any government official say, it's not ours, it's not our adversaries, we don't know what it is, we don't know who's doing it, but don't worry, there's nothing to see here. That tells me I better fucking look that way because there's something to see there.
You know what they need to do? You know what would solve this? Getting Herbe from China and making him Herbe. That's what they need to do.
Bring back
to launch
Herbe.
him into the air.
Good old little Herbe.
You guys overworked?
You need fun. You need some fun?
You want to come back to my place?
Fucking Herbe.
I'll show you my stapler.
I love Herbe.
Like the size of a thermos. He's going to take over the world.
He will. I love him. And you know what? That wouldn't be bad. So like
you overworked? Want to hang out at my place? Maybe watch reprogramming?
So yeah, watch reprogramming. So I guess my question is to you. All right.
Yeah.
Is it, in your opinion, what do you think this is? Is this a combination of things? Is this a combination of, military or, law enforcement? I don't even think they said military. I think they said law enforcement drones are up there trying to figure out what's going on, obviously. Planes that are being misidentified, stars and planets being misidentified, and then whatever that remaining amount of whatever is. What do you think that is?
It needs to be done. What it is, I don't know. I almost don't care just because I'm that much of an asshole. I think what they need to do is get a group of elite video gamers together and give them Apple iTag guns and let them loose on these drones from the ground, shooting iTags.
See, here's the
drone.
Here's the problem, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Trump that first said it, something about shoot them out of the sky, but it's illegal to do so.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do it. It's a felony. So now you got people.
Well, it would present a danger to the general public to do that.
Absolutely.
Because it would come down into neighborhoods and schools. But if you just shoot it with an iTag,
just so you can follow it,
get Adam Sandler and Kevin James and
Spade,
Josh, what's his name? Josh Gad. From the movie Pickles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Get some old school video gamers with some AirTag guns. Tag up these drones from the ground.
Which is not, that's not a horribly bad idea, but the thing of it is,
I'm just saying low tech sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Sometimes it's the key.
So now instead of shooting at these things, though there is a killer video of a guy who lit off a firework out of a lead pipe and took one out.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very lucky one shot.
He's not paying for drinks for the next 6 months.
It was a very lucky one shot. But so now people are understanding that you can't legally break out your 12 gauge and start shooting at these things because that's a felony and dangerous. And beyond that, now,
but fun.
Yeah. Oh, I would do it if it wasn't illegal. I would fucking do it. Well, the problem is that most people break out their AR, and you need a 12 gauge with birdshot.
Scatter.
Yeah, you need the scatter for that. You're not going to be accurate that distance up and be able to take. I mean, maybe if you get lucky or if you're very elite on a long gun, sure, but the average Joe is not. But what gets me on this whole thing is, okay, so if there's nothing to worry about and nothing to see here, then why are you investigating? Well, clearly because you know that there potentially could be something to worry about and something to be concerned about. There's shit in your air space that you don't know what it is or whose it is, and you don't have control of your airspace. That tells me that you're either incompetent or you're lying to us. You know what I mean? Or you genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they know. I personally, people float ideas like it's Iran.
Yeah, I heard the mothership one from that fucking ass clown fucking congressman.
Yeah, that is not the case. These things were not wearing turbans. It's
yeah, exactly
irresponsible speculation.
Yeah. All right, but
it didn't have an accent.
It didn't have brown skin. It's green.
It didn't launch off of a camel. It didn't float over.
Launch off of a camel. One hump or two.
It didn't have flaky, buttery pastries with pistachios and honey. We can discount this. That's just ignorant talk.
Yeah, it is. All right, so let's do the thought experiment then. Okay.
It didn't throw falafel at people.
It's fucking week old pita bread just fucking being whizzed like frisbees.
Oh my eye.
All right, so let's do a thought experiment. Let's say the government does not know what it is, which I tend to lean towards that they know something. They know more than they're telling us. What they know, I don't know. I don't think they know everything.
I think this is a missed opportunity for MTG.
With her space lasers?
Yeah, the space laser thing. She could be blaming the Jews.
Well,
she's missing out.
I think we're going to get to that, though. I think we're going to get to that. And that comes towards the end of this particular thought experiment. But let's say, for example...
Maybe it's single left-wing guys that want to grope Blowbart in like a theater.
Oh, that would be...
But this time in a military compound.
All right. I'm game with that, too. But what's interesting to me is that the vast majority of these things are hovering around military installations and, for good or for bad, Trump's residence at Bedminster. So there's a lot of sightings in that area.
They just want to see if it's true, if he has a mushroom dick.
Well, I mean, that is true. And I would think that they wouldn't need all these drones to figure that shit out. Just ask Stormy.
Are you going to go look, or are you going to send a drone to do it for you?
Oh, okay. You got a good point there. I'm probably not going to look on my own.
I'm just saying.
But, all right, let's say that they don't know what this is. They know more than they know more than they're telling us, but they don't know quite what it is. So that means at some point it's either man-made or it's not man-made.
Correct.
If it's man-made, we can all deal with that. We can deal with those threats, no matter what country.
Vietnam.
It doesn't matter what country. We could deal with those threats, and we can wrap our heads around it. But what if it's not man-made? Well, what's the alternative? Well, at that point, it's alien. So my question is, what do you think would happen if, because we've talked about controlled disclosure on the podcast before, and we've talked about just chaotic disclosure, right? I forget what they call it, but
disclosure.
Yeah, just disclosure.
Just disclosure.
And in both cases, I think that there is good and bad to that, right? So if it's controlled, it's a drip. I don't care for that. I would rather just pull the Band-Aid off and let us know. I think that that's better. The argument has always been that if you disclose this information and do full disclosure, and there are aliens, and our government's been working with them since the 40s, this creates distrust with the government and creates problems with religion. Chaos ensues because people don't know what to do anymore. God's not real. I thought he was. All that shit, right? Cats and dogs are getting along. Now all of a sudden your grandma's doing blow. Like all the rules get thrown out the window.
Okay, grandma.
I don't think that that's the case. Okay? I think that yes, there are some people on the planet who, if not for their religion, would behave badly. But I'm also of the opinion that the vast majority of people behave the way they behave, regardless of whether or not they find out there is God or there's not God. So if I found out there was God, right, as an atheist, if I found out God was real, I'd be like, okay, I guess I was wrong. The only thing that would change would be I'd ask for forgiveness for being wrong. Aside from that, my life doesn't change. My behaviors don't change. Okay? And with or without God, I'm not going to go all of a sudden on a murder spree. I'm not going to go off the rails on a drug binge. You know what I mean? I'm not going to start.
I will not ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. I don't think I probably would either. I'd be like, well, you should have showed yourself sooner, motherfucker.
I would just bring up, hey, you know what, Yahweh? This is all part of your master plan. You did this.
Yeah,
this is your fault.
You wanted me to have you wanted me to have freedom of choice. I chose not you. It's kind of like going on a dating.
This.
It's like going on a dating game and
you're gonna spank yourself.
Going on a dating game and they've already picked who you're gonna end up on the date with. No, I don't like that. I don't want forever daddy. I don't need that. All right. But let's say this is catastrophic disclosure, right? Boom. Mothership lands. Aliens are everywhere. The drones are everywhere. We're pinned against the wall. We don't know what to do. They're not, maybe they are friendly. Maybe they're not friendly. Maybe there's a combination because there's so many different variants. Whatever the case may be, I think that would be almost preferable. Now, the other thing that people have been talking about, what? You're giggling. What are you laughing at? The fuck are you laughing at?
Just pictured Jesus or Yahweh peeking it at me. Anyone really. Don't masturbate. God might be watching. Well, you know what? That's on him.
Yeah, he let my arms be this big.
Can't control it.
He let my arms be this long. If he didn't want me to touch it,
curve and peep, that's on him.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion if God didn't want us to touch our dicks, he would have made our arms like fucking T-Rex. Little tiny fucking right? T-Rex couldn't jack off.
No.
Which is why T-Rex was so pissed.
Ass. That's why he was so angry.
Yeah, that's why he was angry. I think we all know. All right, so now with all of that being said, would you prefer that it were aliens, or would you prefer that this was part of, well, there's a project called Project Bluebeam. It's been around since the early 90s. It's a conspiracy theory. I'm not condoning it. I'm not condemning it. I'm just saying that it exists. And
I don't think it's Project Bluebeam. I would hope that it's aliens just checking out, like, what are you guys doing? Knock it off. But I would hope they would concentrate more on Western Europe.
Well, my question is, why is the focus so much on New Jersey?
Well, I mean,
I get it. It's one of the most it's one of the most populated states, and so on and so forth. And yes, there's military base there. But like, okay, if I'm not mistaken, the military base that they've been seen at is the one that's actually, or I don't know if it's a military base or if it's just government installation, but it's where they're making the ammunition, that a lot of the ammunition that they're sending over to Ukraine. So let's pretend it's aliens, right? Are they focusing on this area because this area is creating the weapons that are being sent to Ukraine and maybe Israel or wherever, right? So is it that? Is it like, oh, we're not going to let you get into another war. We're not going to let you go world war. We know that you're if you do, you're going to go nuclear. We're going to monitor this very, very closely with a lot of drones. And when we see a reason to this shit down, we're going to shut this shit down. Are they saving us from ourselves? Which would be optimal. If you're going to have catastrophic disclosure, that's the way it should happen. Where it's like, no, we're saving you from you. That would be amazing. I don't think it's the case, though.
Speaking of, well, I guess I wouldn't really be saving you from you, but there's a theory being floated that China is buddying up to Russia with the idea of taking Manchuria back.
What? China and Russia are buddying up so that China can take Manchuria back?
No, China's buddying up to Russia.
Or Russia, rather.
Sneak attack, yeah, to take Manchuria back.
For
so used
what?
To be a part of there. I don't know.
For what? This is what kills me with China and with Russia. Can't you just be happy with all the shit that you've got? You know? And I'm sure they say the same about the U.S. I'm sure they say the same about the U.S. But look, the countries have been kind of carved up at this point.
I would say no, because I don't think England would want the United States back.
Yeah, that's true.
No, you guys are fucked up.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing much better themselves with that fucking Brexit bullshit and the current state of their government.
And you also got Trump saying that Canada wants to be the 51st state.
Oh, he's going to keep repeating that bullshit, and it's just going to piss fucking Canadians off because, I mean, there's no way. And talk about being pissed off. If I were Puerto Rican, I'd be like, we've been waiting for fucking ever. You can't let Canada
vote right.
You can't let Canada fucking skip in line in front of us. How many other territories are out there would rather?
If there was a change in anything like that, it would be New York, Vermont, Connecticut, and Massachusetts becoming the southeastern province of Canada.
I could see that way sooner than I could see the reverse. And on top of it,
I'm pretty sure if you said that to Trudeau, he would literally bust out in a belly laugh.
Well, isn't Canada still part of England and the United Kingdom?
They're a sister country. They're independent, but they recognize the crown.
So I don't even know how that would work, though. So are they independent as far as the ownership of their country and their lands?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they could, but why would you? You know what I mean?
Why?
And Trump is just trying to make a real estate deal. He's like, I see a lot of fucking lumber and oil up there. I'm just doing, just like he did when he said, how much would Greenland cost?
Yeah, I was about to say Greenland.
Yeah. How much you want to sell it? How much you want to sell this to us for?
Change the name to Trumpland.
What the fuck kind of delusion are you living when you think that Canada is going to become?
Maybe he's got an STD that's gone to his head.
I don't know, man. He's got something wrong. There's something wrong.
Something psychological.
I don't care what anyone says. He is not, I said when Biden ran that he had lost a step. Prior to winning, I said Biden's lost a step.
Yes.
Once he won and was like 2 years in, I'm like, he's lost 2 or 3 steps. Yeah. And as of now, I'd say he's lost all of his steps. But Trump is definitely.
I think it was the exchange between the firefighter and Biden. The firefighter that's wearing the Trump hat. Like, oh, you want to switch hats? Hell no.
But here's my point is that I don't think, like, for all the shit that they're giving Biden, and rightfully so. I mean, he does seem like he's, dementia'd out and does not seem like he's fully there, and through no fault of his own, it's just age, I think Trump's going to hit his second year and be a fucking wreck like that. And they're going to be defending Trump like we were defending Biden. I think they
need to hammer Trump because shit's going to go sideways. It is, because it's Trump. He doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't know who to actually pick. He's only pitching yes men.
Right.
And there will come a time where shit's going sideways. It's going to happen. And people need to bring up to him directly, well, your dementia riddled predecessor did a fine job with this. What's your excuse?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be issues. So anyways, getting back to these drones and that real quick. I could see this all going sideways under Trump just because like any real issue or catastrophe, it seems like he knows how to fuck it up worse.
Yeah.
So like whether it was a hurricane, whether it was the hurricane and the Sharpie marker, whether it was, COVID and, inject the bleach, like no matter what the fucking situation is, there's a way he's going to make it worse.
The COVID debacle started when he disbanded the pandemic response team in 2018.
Yes. But let's back up here. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's back up to the drones again. It's easy for us to get lost in,
you're welcome. I threw the choo-choo train off the track
completely, which is why I'm here. I am the one that you break it, I fix it. That's the way it's always worked. Whether it was toys, cars, whatever. Yeah, I get it. So the reason I wanted to talk about Project Bluebeam is it's conspiracy theory suggesting a global plot to establish a new world order through advanced technology and psychological manipulation. The theory's been debunked. It's alleged that its alleged phases are often described as the following. First, you discrediting religious beliefs through false discoveries. The theory posits that authorities will stage archaeological discoveries to challenge traditional religious beliefs. These findings would supposedly aim to undermine faith systems and create confusion. 2, a massive holographic light show. This stage involves projecting large-scale holograms of deities or religious figures into the skies. Tailored to specific cultures and regions, these holographic illusions would simulate the second coming or other divine intervention, manipulating people into believing in a single global religion. All right. 3, mind control through artificial telepathy. Using advanced technology, authorities would allegedly transmit thoughts or messages or commands directly into people's minds. This step aims to manipulate individuals into believing they are receiving messages from a divine or extraterrestrial source. 4, a staged alien invasion or global catastrophe. The final phase includes simulating an alien invasion or apocalyptic event to unite humanity under a single global government. This step would allegedly use advanced technology to create fear and justify totalitarian control. Out of all of those things, right? Mm-hmm. The only one I can honestly hold on to and go, well, that kind of sounds like this, is a staged alien invasion or global catastrophe. If you have enough people believing that these are aliens, you might be able to get legislation through under a new drone regulation law that has nothing to do with drones. They can sneak in the language that they want to take away more freedoms. That to me seems more like, I get the idea of a global catastrophe or alien invasion type thing in order to get everyone on the same page and to work together. We've seen that. We've seen that in other things. We saw that with 9/11. We saw that in the beginning of the pandemic. Everyone was willing to give up whatever. And I think in many ways, the pandemic may have, if this is some sort of government fuckery that's going on with these drones, it would seem to me that the COVID pandemic was a great place to start. They were able to do figure out a lot of things on how people would react to a global issue. And maybe they feel like they can avoid some of the mistakes they made during the pandemic, right? And do it this way. The idea of discrediting religious beliefs through false discoveries, I don't see why you would need that. the massive holographic light show, that's easily disproven. Like no matter how good it is, that I would imagine would be easily disproven. Mind control through artificial telepathy, that's bullshit. It doesn't exist. But a stage an invasion, that's something you can work with. And if you think about the drip, drip, drip since 2017 regarding UAPs, of course these people in New Jersey, New York, and everywhere else that they're seeing these things are freaking out, because every time you turn around now, since the Go Fast video and the gimbal video and the other videos that were released by the government through the Freedom of Information Act, thanks to Lou Elizondo and several others, and then David Grush getting the hearings and being in front of Congress. Now Congress is taking this seriously, though they have people that are on that committee that I don't think are very serious people as far as their politics, but they're taking this serious. We're not hearing from them. Why haven't I heard from Representative Luna on this? Why haven't I heard from, what's his name? Tim Burkhart on this, right? These are two Republicans that are very, very vocal and out in front of the press when it comes to UAPs, but I'm not really hearing a lot from them. At least I haven't seen it. Not to say that they haven't done it. I just haven't seen it. So what's going on? What the fuck is it? And to what end? Okay, like everyone who's saying, this is Biden, like Tim Pool. Okay, great, but for what? What's the get? What do you get out of that? Well, just trying to fuck up the Trump presidency. How does that fuck up the Trump presidency?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's just wishful thinking.
But I mean, even under the worst case scenario, right? Let's say it's true. It's unidentified. We don't know what it is. It could be adversary. It could be alien. We don't know, but we're pretty sure based on the knowledge that we have that it's not adversaries. So that only leaves alien. Do you not say anything because everyone would go, oh, it's a staged alien invasion? What if it was fucking real? What if those orbs are fucking from outer space? And I say alien not in the sense of even alien little green men. Okay? What if this is just a ball of intelligent energy? A plasmatic ball of intelligent design. I mean, we don't know what fucking aliens look like. We know what we've been told they look like. We know what to expect based on fucking science fiction and people who say that they've seen them and, abductees and observers and blah, 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 blah. Right? But it all goes back to the same kind of thing. It's a flying saucer. It's shaped like this. And they were little gray guys with big almond eyes. Well, maybe that is true. Maybe they do exist. But that still doesn't tell me what the fuck is going on here. Because we're not seeing, quote unquote, flying saucers. These are drones by all accounts. Which means that to me, this is man-made. Now, why can't you tell me whether or not it's a country? Why are you telling me that it's not an adversary? How does that benefit your administration, Biden? Or how does it hurt Trump's administration? It is what it is. These things are happening. There doesn't have to be some sort of political, fuckery going on. It can be, it's like saying, oh yeah, that hurricane, that was Biden's fault. He's just trying to make it rough for Trump. Well, Biden doesn't control the weather. And Biden doesn't control these fucking drones. So, and even if he does, what is the purpose for doing it? Why would you, even as a U.S. government, why would you put these things out the way that they're being put out? What would your purpose be? To scare the public? Okay, great. Now you've scared the public. Now what do you do with that? Well, the only thing you can do with that is legislation. And the only reason to do that is to take away people's rights. So what rights are you going to take away because there's fucking drones shooting around New Jersey and New York and several other states? What are you taking away? And for what reason? Any thoughts?
I honestly, I don't really have any
See, that's my
thoughts.
point. This is one of those
I'm
conundrums.
just chilling, watching this come undone, enjoying the fun.
And that's the thing is like, thankfully you and I are in positions where we can sit back and just and watch it and be curious about it. But I do feel bad for the people of New Jersey and New York specifically, because there's a lot of people that are afraid, and you shouldn't be afraid of what might be in your backyard or in your skies above your backyard. You know what I mean? I especially going into the Christmas season. So my view on it is I can sit back and enjoy this because no matter what it is, this fucking entertaining as hell for me. You know, I mean, this has given me more food for thought and more interesting videos that I've ever seen. I'm all in, but you know me, I'm all about UFOs. I love the idea of the possibility, just like I like the idea of the possibility of many things, you know, that I know are not real, or maybe
way,
were, but not anymore.
There were reports of drones 2 days ago in Michigan.
Oh yeah, where?
Somewhere in downtown Detroit.
Really?
Which, I mean,
are they ghetto drones? Hey,
I don't know if you know about this, but the Green Day concert that went on like 1 or 2 months ago,
yeah,
was halted because a drone flew into the stadium.
Yeah, but they knew who that guy was. They found the guy. I mean, it was just a normal. Yeah. It was just a normal dude who had a drone and was trying to see the concert for free. You know, like, and again, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of that in the skies of New Jersey currently. I think that there is.
If I was an operator, a drone operator, I would disguise my drone to look like a pair of titties.
Why a pair of titties?
Because, yeah, it's going to be spotted, but everybody's going to be like, oh, look, pair of titties.
Titties in the sky with diamonds.
Makes people smile.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's something about titties that make everyone smile pretty much.
Whoa, hey, those titties?
And with that, I mean, I don't know a better place to leave it. Do you? I mean, like, that's the perfect put a pin in the moment. That is another Elsie's little pickles.
Overtime?
You working overtime?
Those titties?
Yeah, you need a rest. So with that, we have come to the conclusion that titties make everyone smile. And that's another Elsie's little pickles.
Pickle, bye-bye.